Hey everyone, welcome back to 1023 Yoga. You've arrived, and I'm glad you have today because in this sequence of guns and poses, I'm going to be targeting the hips. Man, do we carry a lot of shit in our hips. And I'm not just talking about the duty belt, I'm talking stress, trauma, and emotions that sit and get bogged down there. There's actually several scientific studies that discuss how the hips can act as an emotional reservoir, storing all this negative stuff. When we practice hip work, opening the joints, stretching the tissue, getting into deep core muscles such as the psoas that run right around and into the front of the hips from the core, you can actually experience emotional release. What do I mean by that? Myself, I've experienced crying on the mat during practice. I've been angry, pissed off in a yoga class. Yes, it can happen as emotions are being released when you're targeting that area. So I'm going to show you some things that you can do to combat the symptoms of PTSD, the trauma and the heavy burdens that we carry that sit on the hips, not to mention that duty belt. We're going to stretch it out. Let's do it. What do you need for today's session? A block or two, substitute with a book, your foam block or cushion, and if you have one, your training pistol, of course. This is tactical yoga for first responders by a first responder. Let's get started. Okay, so find a comfortable seat on your foam block or a cushion, which I highly recommend. And the reason for this, especially those of you who are new to yoga, when the hips are tight, which they are for most of us, if you're not elevating the pelvis, we tend to sort of round when we're sitting, and it's really awkward to get length in the spine when we're sort of rolling like this. Okay. So when you sit up on something, it allows the hips to push forward. Okay. So we're going to start in a large butterfly position. So what that looks like is a large diamond in front of you, that diamond shape. And I want it to be nice and long. So you're wiggling those feet forward. Okay. From here, this, you might already be feeling it if you have tight hips. So we're just going to get settled. We're going to arrive. Okay. Palms resting on the knees, taking a deep inhale with a long spine, exhaling. You can even sigh it out, taking a few moments to arrive on your mat. Just noticing where you can already soften, scanning the body, perhaps starting at the forehead where there's a lot of tension between the eyebrows. You can rest that resting bitch face. You can calm that down, okay? Not on duty. Let it go. Let go of that duty face, right? Relax the jaw. Gently part the teeth. Allow the shoulders to soften down from the ears. Get length in the neck. Feel the length in the neck now. Okay, the palms are resting on the knees and just notice that. Notice the warmth. Notice the weight of the hands on the knees. Notice the hips, allowing them to let go. Notice that tension. Become aware. With each exhale, allowing the knees and the hips to soften. Closing the eyes if it's comfortable to do so. Slowing the breath down. A few more deep inhales and deep exhales at your own pace. Good. We're going to take the next inhale, ride that up. And then we're going to exhale and lean forward from the hip crease. Okay, so I'm keeping a long spine here, and I'm starting to bring my chest towards the heels. Okay, so there's not so much of a rounding. I'm not folding yet. I'm keeping that length to my spine. Okay, and with each exhale, you might be able to ah, fold a little bit further. Good. Now, allow your spine to start rounding. As you exhale, bringing the forehead down. Now, this is where a block can come in handy. You may place that on the floor or rest it on your feet to allow your forehead to touch down. Okay. It can often offer a bit extra support. Otherwise, if you're not using a block, you might be softening and releasing the spine with each exhale. From here, begin to unfurl the spine, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. The head is going to be the last to come up. And then just gently start fluttering. This is your butterfly pose. You're fluttering the wings, okay? This brings fresh synovial fluid to the joints of the hips. And after you've just done a fairly deep stretch to get started, this helps loosen them up, okay? Good. Now, bringing the knees together, placing the feet wide as your mat apart. I'm actually going to come off of that pillow now, so you can put that to the side. And we're going to windshield wiper. So I've got feet mat width apart, and I'm going to go from one side to the other. Okay. Again, this is another way to bring fresh synovial fluid to the joints of the hips. Hey, this isn't something that we often do in our day to day. Think of how many times you actually do a movement like this, right? Good. Now, when you feel even on both sides, coming back to center, you're going to swing the right leg behind you. So I'm going to come into this 90-90 formation, it's known as deer pose. Okay. So my front shin is parallel to the front side of my mat, and my back shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat. And from here, I'm getting length in the spine. And again, I'm going to fold from that hip crease. Okay. You may start feeling something right here. Okay. You can use blocks to elevate the ground. You can come forward on an exhale. It all depends on your body and how much you've practiced yoga. Okay. Beginning to fold, getting into that outer hip. Okay. So if this is really intense for you, you can ease off by either coming up or moving over to the left towards that knee a little bit. And that will back off some of the intensity. Otherwise, we're here and we're breathing. Notice as you exhale, does the body allow you to go a little further? You can maybe come more to the middle and intensify that stretch a little bit. Keeping those long, steady exhales. Good. Pressing back up slowly. We're going to simply swing the legs around, kind of a breakdance maneuver here, and into the other side. Okay. So, same setup, front shin parallel to the short edge of the mat, back shin parallel to the long edge of the mat. Okay. I find I actually have a tighter hip on my right side. That's common. It's actually my gun side. Maybe that's why. So you might, again, want to use a block. Each side's going to be different. Okay. Find the point that works for your body, okay? As you exhale, listen to the body. There shouldn't be any pain. There may be discomfort. There's a difference. And it's okay to breathe through discomfort. Again, you can ease off by bringing the torso over the knee, or you can intensify by bringing the torso more towards the foot or towards the middle of the mat, okay? Steady, long breaths. That is the key here. Breathing is the key to not only the yoga practice, but it's something you can bring to your duties. Okay, when you're in an intensified situation, bring it back to the breath. Long, steady exhales. Couple more breaths. Good. Slowly beginning to rise the torso, coming back up, swinging the feet both to the front again, and we're going to do that windshield wiper release one more time. Feet are mat width apart, and I'm swinging from side to side. Good. So now back to center, we're going to swing the legs around, and we're going to come to all fours. Now, from here, if you have that cushion that you were seated on, you can have that handy. I like to place it under my knees when I practice. So we're going to bring the right leg forward. That's where I'm going to pop my pillow under the knee. And on the inhale, I'm going to rise up. As I exhale, shoulders sinking away from the ears, okay? Now I'm getting into that front of the hip. We targeted the exterior of the hip. Now we're getting into the front of it, okay? This knee, the support knee in the front is in line with that shin, okay? If you need to bring that knee, the back knee, a little further forward, that'll decrease the intensity. Otherwise, bringing it back will increase the stretch. You find what works for you, okay? Arms are up overhead, breathing, exhaling into the hip. Inhaling and exhaling. Notice each exhale, your body will start to trust and it will allow you to sink a little deeper into your pose. Good. From here, bringing the palms forward, I'm going to lift the back knee. Now I'm setting up in this sort of runner's lunge, preparing for a high lunge. Okay, toes are tucked at the back. As I inhale, I'm coming up again, but now we're in this higher lunge. Okay. Exhale to sink into that pelvis again. Check in with that front knee. It's still in line with the ankle. Good. Taking a deep inhale, you're going to exhale the palms forward as you step forward, letting go with a forward fold. Now, if your back and hips, hamstrings are tight as well, very common, you can always come up and rest on the thighs with your forearms to just ease off on that a little bit. Otherwise, if you've been practicing for a while, you might let the arms dangle, you might clasp each elbow and sway from side to side. Good. We're going to prepare to come into the other side. So now I'm going to take my right foot back. We're going to go backwards. So we're going to start with the high lunge. My toes are tucked, inhaling up. Okay. We're in the high lunge to start on this side. Again, check in. Are those shoulders hanging onto the ears, which they often do? Let it go. Breathing, feeling that foundational strength. And that's what we need on duty too, right? You're grounded in the earth, you're grounded down, but you're also finding ease. Okay. Good. Exhaling the palms down. I'm going to bring that back knee down. I'm finding my cushion for below that knee. I'm inhaling back up. So now I'm into the low lunge on this side. Greater intensity in the stretch for sure. Sink into it. Adjust the knee where it needs to be, further forward, further back to find your stretch. How's the breath? Inhaling, exhaling, come down. This time that front foot's going to meet the back foot like so. Going to take the knees wide, feet or toes are together, and we're preparing for that child's pose. So I'm pushing my hips back towards the buttocks, reaching the arms out ahead. This is a wide knee child's pose. So it does get into those inner hips, inner thighs. Okay. If the forehead isn't quite touching the ground, you can always stack the palms like so. Taking those deep inhales and deep exhales, allowing yourself to stand down. From here, walking the palms over to the right, feeling a sense of lengthening and stretching down the left side of the body. So I'm getting into the intercostal muscles in the ribs and all the way down into that left pelvis. And I'm going to start walking my palms back to center and then over to the other side. So we're still working in the hips by being in this child's pose for an extended period of time, but we're just adding a little bit of side body work. We're often wearing the vest, which is extremely constrictive. And this is a nice way to really open up the side body, the ribs that are often compressed under that vest. Breathing fully, feeling that side body expand, and then exhaling, softening into the hips. Good. Coming back to center with both palms. Now, pressing up to all fours, tucking the toes, and the knees come back to center. We're going to press up into our downward facing canine, downward dog. So you can pedal out the feet here. If you notice that your body is sort of coming into more of a push-up style position and there's more weight in your hands, then bend the knees deeply and bring the hips back, the chest towards the thighs. And you can pedal the feet, walk the dog. Good. From here, you can bring both feet together, toes touching. Gonna inhale, lift the right leg up and back. Gonna bend that right knee, open the hip. The heel is towards the buttocks. Check in with the shoulders. Are they twisting? Try to keep them facing the front. You're really getting into that hip. PDS pose here. Breathing, stretching. You're gonna exhale to bring the knee under the torso, placing it behind the palm. We're gonna come into pigeon pose. Okay, so pigeon pose, that front foot is flexed, helps protect the knee. I'm gonna check back and notice, are my toes, knee, and hip in line? Yes, perfect. Then I'm gonna place the shoelace side of the foot down on the mat. I'm gonna get length. I'm gonna exhale and fold forward into that pigeon pose. Pigeon can be intense. So if you need to back off a little bit, you can bring the knee to the center of the mat. That'll ease off that outer hip stretch, okay? Otherwise, you find the spot that's best for your body. Once you've found that, sink into it. Find those deep exhales. Let go. If the mind starts wandering, bring it back to the breath. So long as there's no pain, we don't want any pain in the knee or anything like that. Please back out if that's the case. If there's discomfort, that's a different story. We can breathe through discomfort. That's something we need to train ourselves for our day to day lives and for on duty. Breathing through discomfort. A few more breaths here, allowing each exhale to soften the hip. Good. When you're ready, placing the palms down, coming back up with the torso, tucking the back toe, and bringing that front leg back into your downward facing canine. Stretch it out, walk the dog. Okay, I'm preparing for the other side, bringing the feet together, toes touch. Inhaling the left leg up and back, and then exhaling to open by bending that knee, heel towards the bum. Notice if your shoulders are twisting again, can you bring the shoulders back in line with the front of the mat? So I'm really getting into the hip. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, bringing that knee under the torso, placing it down, preparing for pigeon on the other side. So you can take a quick check in with that back foot. Is it in line with the knee and the hip? Perfect. I'm going to place the shoelace side of the foot down, untuck the toes. Foot is flexed on the front. Inhale, get length. Exhale, fold forward. Check in with that knee, ensure there's no pinching or pain. Breathe through discomfort. Exhale to soften. Has the mind wandered off again? No problem. Just corral it back to the breath. Often our minds are not used to being quiet because we have such busy careers and a lot of chaos going on. You can remind yourself you have the right to remain silent. Wah, wah. I know, I'm all about the cheese. Now I'm thinking about cheese. All right, palms on the ground, slowly coming up. Inhale and tuck the back toes. We're coming back into downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Come to stillness, find the breath. Good. We're going to bring the toes together, feet together. We're going to lift that right leg again on the inhale. Going to exhale, bring it all the way through. I'm going to grab that pillow again. I'm dropping my back knee. Okay. Before I come up, I'm grabbing my training pistol and I'm in that lunge position. Okay. We've seen this on the firing line. Sometimes you're waiting for action. You might be leaning on that front leg. Okay. Now, the idea here is it's just giving you that sense of what you can take to the firing line. You can have this steady foundation. We don't always have a pillow to throw under our knee, but hey, let's use it while we can. Okay. Getting into that, that ready position. Okay. Just getting used to that, noticing how you can apply this at your firing line. Maybe finding a focal point known as a drishti, which is what we would do, looking for our target, looking for threats, but at the same time, remaining calm and finding the breath. Good. Now, I'm going to place that training pistol down and I'm going to grab my blocks. If you have one, that's no problem. You can use one or two. And we're going to lengthen that front leg, coming into a hamstring stretch and just countering that stretch we just did for the hip. Good. From here, bending the knee, placing that foot down. I'm going to lift the back knee and step forward back into that forward fold. I'm going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. From here, coming into that other side. I'm going to bring the right leg back, drop the knee. Before I come up, I'm grabbing my training pistol and I'm just coming into that ready position on the other side. So we're still stretching that hip, okay? Getting strength in that foundation and noticing how we can take this to the line. So I'm scanning for threats. I'm alert, but I'm calm at the same time. How's the breath? Check in. Good. From here, getting length in that front leg, putting my training pistol down. I'm going to counter that stretch with a brief hamstring stretch, lengthening that front leg. Let it go. Excellent. Bending that knee, lifting the back knee, moving your prop aside, coming back into downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, side out. Good. From here, walk the palms towards the toes. So we're coming into a forward fold at the back edge of the mat. Then we're going to take the feet the width of the mat. My toes are slightly angled out, preparing for a squat pose. So bending the knees deeply. I'm coming into a full squat here. Now, if you're new to yoga, hips are tight and this isn't happening, you might have the heels up, or you can also place your block, maybe the criminal code. That's a good place for it right there. Okay. So now I'm getting into the hips in this squat position with a bit of assistance. Okay. You can have the palms together with the elbows pushing the knees out. Finding the breath. Noticing if you've increased heat in your body, increase that intensity. Can you still find the breath? Because that's what we need to teach ourselves on duty. Mastering this pose can be very helpful as a female member as well. When we're out on a like rural shift for many hours and there's no bathrooms around. So I've used this many times and it can be very helpful. Lots of benefits from yoga. Okay, so now we're gonna come forward all fours, okay? And let's just shake out the feet by tapping, kind of wiggling the hips, letting that go, okay? And then we're gonna find our way down to the stomach. So lowering down, gonna straighten the feet. From here, I'm gonna place my left forearm at the front edge of my mat, and I'm gonna bend my right knee, grabbing that foot. So we're getting a back extension here. We're getting into that hip on the right side. This is a good counter for sitting in a car, wearing that duty belt. Notice the breath. It can be a little bit more challenging to breathe when you're on your belly. And exhaling, we're going to let that foot go without slingshotting it. Take a pause with the forehead on the ground, maybe wiggle the hips from side to side. And coming into the other side, I'm going to place the right forearm on the mat, bend my left knee, hook onto that back foot. And you can decide how intense you want this posture as well. You can extend the back further by arching up, or you can decrease the intensity by maybe even lowering the forehead on the forearm. Finding the breath. Next, exhale, gently releasing that foot and coming down to the forehead once again. Wiggling the hips from side to side. And then take that right knee and just bend it, bring it up to towards your armpit. Okay. So my gaze is towards that bent knee. We're getting into that inner thigh, inner leg line, inner hip here. Just allowing the weight of your body to sink into the mat. Allowing that hip to drop down and to open on the inner leg, inner hip. If you want to incorporate some added fun and added tactical components, you can bring your left arm through and pick up your training pistol. You might recognize this as shooting around a car tire or some sort of lower barricade. So I'm still feeling the stretch in my hip, actually the front of my left hip and my inner right hip. And at the same time, I'm conditioning myself to breathe if I was in a firefight. Next, exhale and lower your training pistol. Come back to center, straighten that leg, and wiggle it out left to right. I'm going to prepare for the other side. So I'm going to move what I need to the other side, blocks and such out of the way. I'm going to bend that left knee, bring it up towards the armpit, and I'm going to take my gaze and look towards that bent knee. So now we're targeting the inner line, inner hip line and thigh line of the left side. While at the same time, you're actually getting a good stretch on the right front hip. Again, allowing the weight of your body to be fully supported by the ground right now. I always find this to be quite a restful position, actually. There's something comforting about just allowing the ground to support you. Good. And for that added fun if you wish. You might swing that right shoulder underneath and come into your shooting position on this side. Noticing what muscles are activated when you do this, right? So when you take it to the firing line, your body will remember and go, "Oh yeah, I remember that from yoga." You have to, activate the hips, activate the core, focus on the breath. Good. Placing that down, coming back to center, lengthening that leg. And again, letting it go, gently rocking from side to side, maybe bending both knees and just sort of waving the heels from side to side, completely releasing the hips. Good. And then lengthening the legs, we'll put the palms below the shoulders, tuck the toes, press back up to all fours, and then gently come back into a child's pose, but this time have the knees together. So we have the knees close together for this child's pose. Again, if the forehead doesn't touch the ground, no problem. You can stack the palms like so. Just countering the back extensions that we just incorporated there by rounding the spine. Awesome. Now we're going to slowly roll up and to one side. We'll swing the feet around to the front. And we'll set up for a reclined butterfly. So we had started with that diamond shape like this. We're going to do it reclined. So it looks similar. Feet are together, knees are open, and I'm coming back. Make sure there's no props in your way. And from here, just allowing the knees to open and the natural weight of the legs to stretch the hips. Okay. This can be quite intense as well. Sometimes an option is to add blocks, books, pillows under the knees to decrease the intensity of that pull. Taking a few minutes here, I sometimes like to rest my hands on the belly just to sort of connect to your body, connect to yourself. Especially when we're struggling with PTSD, there's quite a loss of connection. There's a disconnection to our own body sometimes. So sometimes just that self touch is grounding. You might close the eyes. If the body is allowing your hips to soften, you might remove any props that you had placed under the knees so that you can go a little deeper. Another option to intensify this stretch is to actually bring the heels closer to the groin. Creates a deeper stretch in the inner hips. Just starting to wind down the practice here. Allowing the body and the muscles to release their grip, to soften. And as you feel that stretch in the hips, this may sound strange if you're new to this practice, but try to visualize releasing any of the heavy emotions, anything that's been bogging you down, um, anything that's difficult. Imagine releasing it. Sometimes I use visualization techniques such as releasing balloons to the sky, um, maybe placing a leaf in a river and allowing it to float away. Anything that works for you to release, whatever speaks to you as release, letting go. And you're more than welcome to stay in this pose if you're finding comfort and continued release. Otherwise, you may shift into a more traditional relaxation pose, which is extending the legs, allowing the palms to open alongside the body. If there's pain in the low back, you can always place a pillow or cushion below the knees to add support for the back. You could bend the knees. Finding whatever position works for you. You can add some layers, maybe socks or a blanket. I recommend taking eyeglasses off or um, hair ties. That way you can fully relax and take the next few minutes completely for yourself. Okay? There's no radio to answer, there's no calls to respond to, there's nowhere to be except right here and right now. Taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale, letting go. Softening from your feet through your ankles, shins, and calves. Softening the knees, the thighs, the buttocks and hips, the back, the belly soft, the chest and shoulders relaxed, the arms, the hands, all deactivated, relaxed, the neck, the scalp, the facial muscles. And you find softness in the eyes and the jaw. Let go. And feel free to stay exactly as you are. If you need a bit more time. Otherwise, if you're closing your practice with me, you can gently bring a bit of movement back into the fingers and toes and increase the breath. Maybe bring the head from side to side and come into a full body stretch. Inhaling deeply, stretching from toes to fingertips, yawning. Yawning is a good release as well. And then exhaling, let it go. I'm bending the knees, bringing them into the chest so that you can just round the back and rock from side to side. And we'll turn over to one side, just taking a moment. And when you're ready, pressing up, we'll meet in a seated position, grabbing that pillow or foam block that you had at the beginning. Finding a brief cross-legged position or back into butterfly if you wish. And just taking a moment as you've now sat up, blood pressure's changing. Just take a pause and notice how you feel. There's no right or wrong way to feel. It's just how you feel, and it's just to take notice of it. Become aware. Tap into the breath. Good. I hope you found this beneficial. I hope you were able to stretch out the hips a little bit and maybe even release some of the trauma and burdens that we do carry. If you found this helpful, please share with other police officers, other first responders. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.